Scanning for audio.
Hello and welcome to another Tin Dog podcast. If my maths is correct, you're probably listening to this on one of the days that Doctor Who's on TV. So obviously, not everyone's into TV Doctor Who. So I thought I'd do some nice, proper, ordinary, Big Finish reviews and send them out on the same day. It'll cost me listeners, but you know what? This is between me and you're already here, so that's fine. We're going to be discussing Zygon Century. Now, my first reaction when I saw that Big Finish was bringing out yet another series was to go, oh God, another series I'm going to have to become emotionally invested in. Do I have the time? Do they have the right? Well, sadly they do. The Zygons were never my favourite, okay? Admittedly, we did write to Robin Banks Stewart years ago and get permission to use them in a New Adventures for Virgin that me and my mate Andy were supposed to be writing, which we never actually finished. Yet another thing in my life that I'll regret, but that's not important. What is important is that the Zygons were great when they were just in one story. But then they did the whole metaphor for immigration thing under Capaldi, and it just became a bit yay. And then, and this is what I'll never forgive them for, there's the possibility that Unit's scientific, you know where I'm going with this, might or might not be a Zygon. Does it matter? It matters to me. It matters to me if Osgood's dead or not. But that's the baggage that put me off. You've also got a Zygon going on is a major protagonist in the Paternoster storyline, and you've got one in next month's Torchwood. So, let's talk about this particular thing. Zygon Century is a 100-year overarching plan for something to happen with a bunch of Zygons that live on an island off the coast of Britain. Okay? Tell you what, let's do some synopsises, and we'll do that. Oh, right. Before I go any further, though, Zygon Century was remarkably good. So I'm just very annoyed that it was this good, and I'm now invested and I now want more, and there is nothing about Zygon Century 2 which is just annoying. It's not on the website. It should be. We'd like to be able to pre-order it so that we can get on, but let's look at this. Zygons have come to claim the Earth, and this time they're playing the long game. For the Black Cadre have a plan that will take exactly 100 years to come to fruition. Prepare yourselves, the Zygon Century has begun. Here's the thing, 1901 is a story, so therefore it's meant to finish 24 years ago in 2001 if it is indeed Zygon Century. Or are they just being a bit vague in order to make the word Zygon Century stick? I'm being pedantic. Me, a Doctor Who fan, pedantic? Who would have thunk it? Okay, you've got 3 stories in this box set, and I'm guessing from the extras and everything that there's a plan, a long-term plan, to have this happen at various other times. All the stories will fit together, it'll all come to fruition, and all of the stories have the long game going on. But it is indeed a standalone, not Monster of the Week, but kind of Monster of the Week storyline. Only one of these has the Doctor, and to be fair, I think I'd be quite happy if none of them had. But that's a whole extra story. Okay, story 1 is 1901, The Unknowing Mirror by Jonathan Barnes. Story number 2 is 1935, The Miracle of Pendour Cove. by Lauren Moody and Stewart Pringle. Oh yes, marvellous. And the last one is 1957, Double Agent by Trevor Baxendale. None of these are weak stories. The second one, The Miracle of Pendour Cove, is by far my favourite, but it's my favourite because it feels like the Silky. It feels like folk tales. I love Lauren and Stewart's work, ridiculously so. If they handed in something that looked a lot like the phone book, at least you'd know that it would be spooky as hell. And it's always submerged in fiction. But let's do these in order. In Edwardian London, the scandalous investigator of occult phenomenon, Mr. Herbert Scott, and his associate, Father Felix Cromwell, are confronted by a case of possession. A young woman, suffering from unusually vivid dreams, seems also to exhibit signs of completely separate personality. Another being is speaking through her, a being which claims to be not from Earth at all, a being which calls itself Zygon. It's the Victorian spooky storyline. It's so well done. It's not quite Jago and Lightfoot. It's also not Victorian Torchwood. It is its own thing. It's also not quite Carnacki as well. Again, those things all come into play. And it's got some very nice atmospheric stuff going on. It sets the ground nicely. By the end of this first story, you're well on board with the whole project. And that takes us again to the second box set. Freddie Trewella has found a mermaid, beautiful and strange, washed ashore in a Cornish bay. Her name is Vorvoren, and she comforts him in his harsh life of servitude to his zealot father. As they grow together, Vorvoren shows Freddie her secret power to change her appearance into anything she desires, but Freddie has secrets of his own, terrible secrets, and soon Vorvoren's great adventure among the humans becomes a nightmarish fight for survival. There's a note at the bottom of this page on this one. Please note, The Miracle of Pendour Cove contains depictions of domestic violence which we strongly advise are not suitable for younger listeners. Trust me, that's right. I was expecting something more harsh, and let's face it, if this had been Torchwood, it would have been so much darker, but that's not what this is, and that's good. It does fit with the whole narrative, the way it's all structured, and the way it all fits together beautifully. I was taken aback by how gorgeous this story was. If the Zygon aspect had been removed, it could quite easily have been one of those Radio 4 afternoon plays that stick with people forever if they'd just gone down the whole silky route. And to be fair, with about 3 tweaks, it could quite easily be readapted and submitted to them and no one would know. It's gorgeous and dark and disturbing and stays with you and sticks with you and lives in the back of your head like all of the Mooney and Pringle stuff does. And then you've got 1957, Double Agent. In an England gripped by Cold War paranoia, wounded MI5 operative Caldwell is itching to rejoin the foray abroad. So why are the service sending him to remote Cornish island? Can the future of the world really be at stake? Will he be able to complete his mission without falling foul of the hideous monsters stalking in the caves? And who exactly is the island's other new arrival, an operative of a quite different kind known only as the Doctor? So this is the story with the 6B Doctor, the one who's on missions, the one who doesn't have a TARDIS, he's got a time ring, and that's what's going on. They're really emphasising the 6B nature of the whole thing, the missions for the Time Lords, the fact that he has simply no idea what's going on and has to figure it out for himself, which is rubbish. Would you send 007 out on a trip? Oh, that's what this is, by the way. This feels so much like proper 007 Ian Fleming books that if you're a 007 fan, just experience it for this. If that's a little hook that'll get you involved in this box set, go for it. Every single story feels so different, and yet they all have the Zygons out. It's kind of Monster of the Week, but the other way round. The monsters are always the same, but it's the people involved in the monster story who aren't the same, and that's well worth it. It's a great take. So, although I was reticent at the beginning, going, oh God, something else, I'm going to have to be involved in, you know what, they've got me hooked. I want to know more. I want more of these, please. I want to know what happens in the century. I also want to know if the Torchwood story that comes out this month, or well, March, is indeed linked, or if it's just got the Zygons in it. So, more please. Yes, please. Here's the trailer, and decide for yourself, as always. Until next time, be seeing you.
I am here, yet I grow weary of your stale invocations.
Edith! Edith, let me in!
From Big Finish Productions.
I saw the creatures. A group of them. Like a hive.
The Worlds of Doctor Who. Zygon Century. Infiltration.
Who are you? Who speaks through this girl?
This is the island which will change the world.
Where better to head at such an hour than to the very eye of the storm?
I saw you before, in the boat, and you saw me too.
I hope you've not come to tempt me away.
I want to show you something.
It's magic. You're magic.
These are murky waters, Cornwell. Grey area of intelligence.
Third-rate equipment for a third-rate spy.
Hello. I couldn't help overhearing...
Stay where you are!
Oh, my giddy aunt. No need to point that thing at me, is there?
These people, whatever they are, call themselves the Zygons.
For all your intelligence, you know nothing!
And it occurs to me that I finally understand what the ideal form of evil might be.
In the name of God, there's two of you!
It would be evil that when it arrives is welcomed with open arms. Evil that does not go about the world in disguise, but rather which shows its true face and is ushered over the threshold by the innocent.
In time, the world becomes the island. The island becomes the world. In time, you won't be able to tell where the world begins and the island ends.
No. Ah!
For wars are won by those who listen.
Big Finish.
For the love of stories.
That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. If you've enjoyed this show via YouTube, please click like and subscribe. To contact the show, please email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk or follow the show on Blue Sky at tindogpodcast.bsky.social. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.